Of course, we have a wonderful guest here today. We have the ballet master of the Queen City Ballet, Josh Deininger?
That's
I
correct.
got it good. Okay, that's great. Well, now, in talking to you off screen, we were talking about Cinderella, and that story was originally written in 1697, and there's hundreds of versions, which I didn't realize. Could you give us a little bit of the history of Cinderella and how it wound up in ballet?
That's right. Well, thank you for having us on the show. I appreciate
Really?
the opportunity to be here to promote Cinderella. Yes, you're right. It actually was first written by Charles Perrault. That was the first publication, and that was in 1697. It was then made more popular by in the Grimm's fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm in 1812. But it wasn't actually made into a ballet until 1893 by Marius Petipa, who is the great Russian choreographer. Most of his ballets still live on today. Sleeping Beauty, Swan Lake, he choreographed those. But for some reason, Cinderella, his version of it, didn't gain a lot of traction. And I think mostly it's attributed to the score. The score for this particular ballet wasn't done by Tchaikovsky like Nutcracker or Swan Lake. It was done by Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev. And he completed this score in 1944. And it was then made into a ballet in 1945. And again in 1946, and then again in 1948. And it wasn't until the 1948 version, which was choreographed by Frederick Ashton, that the ballet started to gain some popularity. A main component of that was that Ashton chose to represent the stepsisters as middle-aged, tragic women, and he actually cast men in the role of the stepsisters. And I think that's what originally set it apart and turned it into a comedy. And so in that vein, since 1948, a lot of ballet companies have chosen to portray it as a comedy, using the stepsisters as elements to kind of make fun of in the ballet. Of course, Disney did his version in 1950, and it's been popular ever since.